All right. Anyway, moving on to the Galaxy Fold end of the spectrum. It is the future. You shall pay for the future. The device was recently, the new device, the fixed device was recently tested. Who tested it, Will? Was it CNET?
CNET, yeah.
CNET tested it. Good for them. They put it in their very own folding robot. Now, I don't know if you guys recall the original Galaxy Fold event. They showcased this robot opening and closing the first version of the Galaxy Fold 200,000 times to showcase kind of the projected lifespan, because they obviously assumed that people would be curious about that if they invested in a device like this. Like, how many times can I open and close it? How many years am I using it for? So CNET did what CNET does. They tested it for themselves. They put it in their very own robot. And I think they did a live stream, in fact, opening. Yeah, Will found it. There it is. A live stream, opening and closing the thing. Look at that cool little robot. Now, important to note, their robot opening and closing the fold way faster, more acceleration. It looks a little, on the open part, it looks a little more, takes it to a point of rigidness.
Right.
It's just a less gentle robot, I should say. But who knows? Maybe a better map to the way a human would interact with it.
Yeah, more rough and just want to get to it.
This may, easy, man. This may be a better indicator of what human interaction over time would be like. Even then, I think humans might be even more rough than even this rough robot.
Yeah. Just a quick note here. The reason
you're making notes right now? You making quick notes? Did you put the finger like this? You put the finger.
Well, they were hoping to have the screen on, but since it was so fast, actually, like it can't display the fact that it's opening and closing so quickly.
Interesting.
So it's just constantly just off.
The display doesn't have enough time to pop on because of the acceleration of the thing. Interesting. Okay, well, eventually the thing fails as expected if Samsung, in their optimal environment, because when you first told me about this, Will, my reaction was, okay, room temperature, humidity, external criteria. You know, Samsung, they probably got dust-free zones for testing. No offense to CNET here, but this looks like it's just on like a desk kind of similar to what we have around here. Just throw it on a desk. It's a cool robot, though. I might want one of those. I don't know. It's a cool robot. Open-close robot. Kind of singular functionality, though. Folding phones. What else are you going to fold up and down? Maybe the robot can do different things. Anyhow, this robot folds it 120,169 times, and at which point the device fails. Although it does say it may have failed sooner because the screen wasn't on, so I don't even know how they knew that was the moment at which it failed. It's all very confusing.
I think it ended at 100,000.
But what?
Then, like, they stopped the stream.
Oh, so they checked at 100,000.
Yeah, and then they kept going, but I don't know. There's not footage of it. I don't know if they were recording
so presumably
or
they checked it at 100,000. Maybe the next check was 150. It died somewhere between 100,000 and 120,000, according to Willie Doo, according to CNET.
Well, the hinge was kind of wonky afterwards, and then the screen was broken.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it. So there's a line that shows up down the screen, and then only one half, the right half of the display, is still functioning. The left half is blacked out. So, I mean, the thing is dead. The thing dies somewhere in between 100,000 and 120,000. How much this matters, of course, depends on, well, it depends on a number of things. It depends on how robust you expect this device to be in the first place. It depends on how much life or usage you expect to get out of it with the fold-unfold situation, how many years you want to use it for. And, of course, it comes down to the type of customer the Fold aims to attract and how often that individual is upgrading the devices they use. Because it has that premium sticker price, because it's so on the fringe of what a smartphone can look like in 2019, I think a lot of early adopters that gravitate towards it are the type that probably upgrade fairly frequently. And if that's the case, they may never make it to 100,000 folds in the first place. But it is interesting to see nonetheless, and it's nice to see the test coming from a third party and not just Samsung themselves. Of course, some people are going to be upset that in Samsung's testing it reached 200,000 and here it basically only reached 100,000. But nonetheless, we have some degree of confirmation here, I suppose, that it's at least this robust. But it keeps leading me back to my original point of view on this device, even prior to them failing, prior to them re-releasing. My initial impression of this device when I held it and put it in a pocket is, woo, delicate. Delicate, woo! Delicate little fine piece of, I'm going to take care, I'm going to be easy on it. I never, ever interacted with it like a regular smartphone. I never had the same feeling of confidence. I was okay with that. I felt it for what it was. And when I switch over to the one in the box right over there, I'm going to treat it that same way. Because I feel like anyone who's a tech head, who's been in the game, who's been an enthusiast, you kind of know when you touch it. You're probably the type that takes care of your stuff. You're probably one of these people, you wipe it, you give it a wipe or something like that. If you're a meticulous individual, you can probably take care of it. If you're a bit rough, it ain't the phone for you. The story remains.